Cruise Control streams live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast's episode information.
This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. It's already begun. Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab, and as always, along for the ride and ready to talk about everything automotive is Les Jackson. How you doing this week, Les Jackson?
Excellent, sir. I'm cozy and warm inside. We have a storm running up the East Coast. You're going to get worse than we are, but nonetheless, doesn't matter because we have plenty to talk about.
We sure do, and we're going to start off with a vehicle that we've been anticipating for a long time, and I know a lot of friends have too. They're ready to put their money down. It is the IDBuzz from Volkswagen, and it is, well, see what the production version is going to look like. It is the return of the Microbus. They even have it in cool two-tone colors. They've finally taken the wrap off of it, but when will we see it on showroom floors in the U.S.? And you might have to do a little bit more waiting.
Well, we might. However, I might not.
Oh.
Because remember, the Audi Volkswagen headquarters is just 8 miles from where I'm talking right now. And I've been talking to our friends at Volkswagen over there, and they said they're definitely planning as soon as one is shipped, even a prototype is shipped to the U.S., it'll go into, they'll bring it into their big atrium lobby.
And you can check it out.
Invite a bunch of us over for lunch and an introduction.
Sounds cool. Well, let's move on to our next story. Pump pain relief. A large number of states are talking about temporarily, at least, rolling back or rescinding the gas tax. We'll talk about that one.
Idea.
It's a lot of states going on. Yeah.
Good idea. And we're going to, and it's not our fault. we're gonna have an as the Tesla turns.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Should Elon Musk shut off all Russian Teslas? Well, some say no. Someone sent an owner a bill also for $600,000 of charging time. Well, now
a little problem with the billing.
I don't think it costs that much.
No, a little problem with the billing.
Yeah.
There. But interesting. Apparently, he could shut off all of the Teslas in Russia if he wanted to. But we'll talk about if that's a good idea.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. And all that and more when we get rolling on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll also talk about the return of the Acura Integra. Remember that, Les?
Absolutely. You know, that's really one of those cars that is underappreciated.
Yeah, well, we'll give it some appreciation after the break on Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We'll be right back. Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les, he's Fred, and we can't wait. Well, we're going to have to wait, but we'd like to not wait to get into the Volkswagen IDBuzz. I mean, we've been talking about it for like 2 years, and it's the Microbus. It's the 21st century Microbus electric. Looks very, very reminiscent. I think they've done a perfect job of recreating the old Microbus without making it look too dated.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves these things.
Yeah, flower power, baby.
Absolutely. Imagine the families, young families, buying these instead of SUVs.
Maybe somebody will want it into a SUV.
Yes. No. We don't know what the range is going to be. I think it'll be a lot.
Yeah, we do know it will have 201 horsepower, which is
plenty.
And it will have 1,121 liters of space, or 39.6 cubic feet of space.
Okay. Let's say 40.
Yeah, it will have rear-wheel drive. Probably, I think eventually they'll have an all-wheel drive version, don't you think?
Probably.
Yeah. You get some real cool colors like candy white and starlight blue, energetic orange, and baby leaf green. I know that's one of your favorites. It does have that two-tone look. To me, two-tone vehicles are great. I love them.
I've always loved them.
And it's
my whole life. And I grew up as a kid with two-tone cars of the late 50s, and I just loved seeing them drive by.
Yes. I think it's going to be great, but here's the rub a little bit. I would have liked to seen the IDBuzz Cargo come over here, where it has no side windows, and I think that would be cool to redo as like a customized van, a modern customized van. We're not getting that because of the chicken tax. You know what that is, right? Where they don't want you bringing in trucks from outside of the U.S. Now, eventually, it might be built down in Chattanooga, but who knows? But right now, I think these are all going to be imported. And then there is a short wheelbase model and a long wheelbase model. We're going to get the long wheelbase model. Problem is, I don't think this is going to happen for us until at least 2023, 2024.
Well, ordinarily, I would disagree with that prediction, but because of shortages of everything, I think you're right. I think whoever the powers are, the decision people over there, they're saying, hey, look, we're going to bring this out, but let's supply everything we need for our existing models so we can sell as many as possible, and then we'll hold off the introduction of the IDBuzz. But at least we've proved that it's coming.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to prove it's coming because they've been talking about this for a long, long time. The other thing, Les, I wonder, will this van in the U.S. be able to overcome the minivan stigma? Now, there's a lot of good feeling, but remember, if you have a family, you may not be of age to remember the microbus.
Well, that's true. But whether you're of age or not, who is not going to fall in love with this look?
I think it's cool. I think vans are always a box on four wheels, the best way to haul stuff. You know, like I say, I would love a tricked out two-tone cargo model with the side windows blanked out and just one seat in the back, or maybe make it into a little camper. I think that would be fun, don't you?
Well, I do. I just think it'll appeal. People who have minivans, I believe, would love to have like a really stylish, young minivan instead of the image that's out there, which is kind of stodgy.
Yeah.
Hearse-like. I'm just hearse-like. Unactive lifestyle looking.
Well, one of the things that concerns me, looking at the controls of the dash, it looks like it's got the digital dash.
Yeah,
that was terrible in the GTI. It looks like the exact same controls.
Yeah, I don't like the digital dash, but you and I aren't their target market.
Well, we'll talk more about this rebirth of the microbus when we come back. I'm Fred Staab. He's Les Jackson. You're on Cruise Control. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. As usual, if nothing else, we are dependable and always on time. Which, hey, that's important. Anyway.
Are you going for a job interview or something? I'm dependable and I'm always on time.
Listen, you just have to stay out there.
Okay.
Anyway, gasoline has been in the news for the past week or so. Boy, has it been in the news. People are screaming.
That's an understatement.
And so some of the people screaming, frankly, don't deserve to be screaming because they're driving $100,000 vehicles and dressed in natty clothing, and they're just, they're spoiled.
What have you paid? I paid $439.
$429.
Wow. Okay.
So far, and it's going to go up. In the short run, it's definitely going to go up.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing: the people poverty line and below are suffering tremendously.
Sure.
These are people that use our delivery person for the Washington Post newspaper. I know what they make, and it's not up above the poverty level, and they have to use their car to deliver the paper. So many states are already making quick decisions to shut off temporarily the gas tax. And some states have very high gas tax. Do you know what New York is, Fred?
It's almost 50 cents a gallon.
Okay. It's about 38 cents here in Virginia.
Wow. Okay.
But that's money.
Significant.
Yeah. And
well,
I think we'll go. So I think this is a great idea. Most well-managed states have a surplus at the moment.
Yeah. Well, let's look at who's involved here. Governors and lawmakers in California, Maine, Michigan, New York, Tennessee are considering rolling back the tax or rescinding it temporarily. A coalition of 6 governors from Colorado, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, and Wisconsin also sent a letter to the U.S. congressional leaders asking them to lift the nation's 18.4% per gallon federal tax. So you think in New York, it's 48 cents a gallon plus almost another 20%. You know, you're nearing $1 a gallon in tax, right?
And that's very significant for the people who right now are highly stressed.
Yeah.
If there were a way to make it cut off at certain income levels, I would love it. But
how could you do that at the pump, though?
You could.
No.
You could. And frankly, I think the Congress, if they can wake themselves up after the 3 martini lunches and dinners with the lobbyists, I think they'll probably pass pretty quickly a stay of the federal tax for 90 days?
Well, Michigan's talking about suspending the 27.2 cent per gallon fuel tax for 6 months.
That's a lot. I personally don't think the fuel price crisis is going to last that long, but I've been known to be wrong.
Yeah. But I think it's good, and it's proactive rather than saying, well, can't do anything about it. Can't talk. We can't tell Putin what to do. So I think it's a good thing, and I think they should think about it. And there's also something in California where you would pay the tax and then get a rebate, which is interesting. A little bit.
Anything that helps people in these dire circumstances.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
And let's remember, I know it sounds simplistic, but everything that moves by a truck has to burn diesel. Diesel costs more, and guess who pays for it?
That's right. You and I. And by the way, the diesel price in all of my local gas stations is just a shade under $6.
We always said, I remember growing up, my dad was in the diesel industry, and he said it's always been an artificial, number for diesel fuel because it is less refined. It is
right.
It would be like paying more for the base level car than one with, all the fancy stuff.
Exactly. Or, tap water versus sparkling water in a bottle.
Yeah. So I never understood that. And I'd like to understand why they do it, but it is cruder fuel than gasoline. It has to go through less processes. So
that's true.
Yeah. But
I'll find out.
All right. Les Jackson, you have an assignment, a cruise control assignment.
I'll find
out. Let's talk a little bit about something that's a little bit cheerier, and that is the Acura Integra. Do you remember when that came out?
Wow. 90, I'm going to say 94.
Okay. Well,
thereabouts.
It's coming back. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting for a lot of people to see the Integra again. And I have memories of this as I think it's one of the cars that put Acura on the map, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. The original Acura cars, the Integra was instantly popular.
Yeah. And I remember that's probably one of the first brand Acura brand vehicles that I remember seeing, because I was like, what's Acura? What's an Acura? Yeah. Remember when that all started happening and Lexus came out, and I was like, why are we making all these sub brands? But now they're ingrained in there. It is a good looking vehicle though, for sure. And I think people are going to be excited about it. I like the A-Spec model that gets a really, really nice interior. That's pretty cool stuff. And, of course, it comes in that Acura blue. But here we go again. Will people be excited about a performance four-door sedan?
Well, I will.
Okay, then we'll build it.
That's it. Well, and you will.
Yeah. I think it's nice. It's a nice sleek exterior. Yeah. It's got a great interior. It's sporty. I would. It comes in Integra, A-Spec package, and A-Spec with technology package. I don't know, though, what the market is for sporty. It's a 5-door, actually, so a 5-door liftback. Those have never been popular. Here in the U.S. By the way, the output is not huge, 200 horsepower from a 1.5-liter turbocharged inline 4. And you can get one of these things, Les, a close ratio 6-speed manual with rev matching and limited slip diff.
Well,
it's got those extra pedals and the shifty thing in the middle.
I'm guessing less than 50 people will order that, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it is, you think back to this where we would get super excited about vehicles like that, and we're still excited about it, but now it's like, I don't know. I don't know whether it's a wise choice to bring it back, or they should have brought it back as an SUV. It's kind of hard to say.
Well, obviously they're selling it in other countries.
Yeah.
So I guess they figure, well, we'll sell it in America too. And they were designing this thing 3 years ago,
right?
When everyone thought, well, gee, the people will still be buying cars.
Yeah, they'll always buy sedans, especially those with manuals. So,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
when we come back, we'll have an As the Tesla Turns. Should Elon Musk shut off all the Teslas in Russia? I don't know. We'll be right back. We are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast's episode information. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson with you. We're glad you're along for the ride. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twizzler. No, I don't know what that is. That's a candy. I don't. Yeah,
that's right. Western Union.
Speaking of Twizzler or Twitter, Elon Musk. The folks on Twitter are asking Elon Musk to disable every Tesla in Russia. Now he's not suggesting this; they're asking him to do this.
Well, what do you think?
Well, he's been helpful by sending the Starlink terminals that he promised. He also made supercharging free for electric cars in Ukraine, so people can, charge up for free and get going and get out of there. But several users have said on Twitter that he should shut everything off. Disable them all, and that would be a good way to add to the sanctions, basically. Now,
except now you're sanctioning the Russian people.
I know, I know
the individuals, not just the population. No, they own the cars.
Would you want to do that as a business owner? Because I wouldn't like that. Like, hey, you better step in line, otherwise I'll shut your car off.
No, I don't think. I think that's too aggressive on the part of an American targeting individual Russians. I just think that's wrong.
Well, Musk responded that the company would only do so at gunpoint and affirmed his position in being a free speech absolutionist. And he'd also...
Good for him.
Yeah.
I have one caveat to that.
Okay.
If Elon has records on which oligarchs own Teslas, shut them down.
Yeah, like if Putin was escaping from Moscow and a Tesla, you could shut it off, right?
Right.
But I don't think you think of it as a business. I mean, eventually this will clear, and he'll want to do business in a free Russia without certain people around, hopefully. And you don't want to. That's just a bad scene to shut off people's cars. I guess he could do it, really, couldn't he?
He could, sure. He could just, go right to the VIN numbers and shut down the ECU.
Yeah. Well, I think the wise choice is not to do it unless
I'm on his side.
Yeah. So this is another part of our As the Tesla Turns. Tesla mistakenly sends an owner a $600,000 charging bill from the supercharger. It was a Model 3 owner in China. He got a bill for over $600,000 at his local charging station. And that would be enough to buy 5 of the cars.
Wow.
And he highlighted the issue. He was being banned from the supercharging network for not paying.
Well, I wouldn't pay either.
And they said it would, this was according to something in a thing called CN EV Post. They said Tesla was aware of the issue, and it was something with their back-end system. And it obviously, he did not get that. he did not charge his car that much. He would not be able to have done it. So it's
I'm not
just
sure,
a funny story.
I'm not sure the life of the battery could could actually absorb $600,000 worth of electricity.
It's a good point. It's a good
I
point.
don't think it could. Any single battery could do that,
unless he was, charging everyone's vehicle in his neighborhood. I don't know, but
yeah.
I don't think he was. It was just a billing
just
error. But it is funny.
A mess.
Imagine opening that bill. I would just be
funny.
so laughable that I would just say, "Well, I'm not paying that," So, another story from the folks over at Ford. Ford's Mustang Mach-E has been doing so well that they're shutting down orders for certain models. They had 4 levels of trim on the Model E, including a mid-range premium and a California Route 1 model. And now they're shutting down the mid-range models, so you can only get the Select and the top-of-the-line GT because they just can't build anymore.
Well, and of course, at a slightly modestly increased price. And by modest, I mean huge. But yeah, you can't blame them. If you're limited in what you can build, then build the stuff that makes the most money.
Yeah. A Ford spokesman talked to Cars Direct and said that the order banks for the premium and the California Route 1's models closed on February 25th. And they said they'll let you know when you can order a 2023 model in those levels. Hey, they've got a hit on their hands, but you got to be able to build them and sell them while someone's standing there with cash, throwing cash on the table saying, "Hey, I want one of these." And it's hard because you think about this. In this case, the entry level might not have things you want, but you may not want the GT. It's just you can always the performance one.
But you can always not buy it. You can be patient.
That's true.
And wait until it is available.
That's true.
Hey, but if someone in 1964 had told me that in almost 60 years, people would still be waiting in line for Mustangs, I would have just, I would have laughed.
It is
so hard.
It is a strong, strong brand. So
it sure is.
Another strong brand, Les Jackson, is Ferrari. And of course, they made their first plug-in hybrid model, the SF90. Stradale it has a twin turbocharged V8 and 3 electric motors, and is capable of sprinting to 62 miles, 0 to 62 miles an hour in a mere 2.5 seconds.
Yes.
But there's one of these is listed on one of those salvage sites. You ever watch those salvage videos where people go through the salvage yard? They call them carnage videos. And they go in there like, "Hey, look at this. I bet I could make this run. Oh, look, it looks like there's a terrible accident inside here, so we're not going to rebuild that." But I find them interesting. And you think, like, is it worth rebuilding? Well, this one, the Ferrari SF90 Stradale, had 180 miles on the speedometer, on the odometer.
We can buff that out.
It had a violent collision, ripping the front bumper, the hood, the driver's side headlight to pieces. The windshield was shattered, and mirrors were knocked off. So the question is, it's terrible, and I'd love to be listening in on the phone call to the insurance agent. But somebody kind of went a little bit above their skill set on driving, I believe.
Yeah. This is...
So this is a salvage site. They say the cash value is $1,034,888.
Right.
And the estimated repair cost is $999,99999. It is basically $1 million repair.
Well, that's right. I mean, I can tell you right now, the thing needs an entirely new tubular frame, and
But one of these, one of these TV shows are going to buy it, and they'll go out and buy some angle iron and weld a front end on there. Hey, here's the front end from a old Chevy Nova. We'll weld that on, and we'll bondo it up to make it look good.
I mean, I don't believe it would really cost $1 million to fix it, but I'll bet it would cost every bit of $500,000 or $600,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think someone could fix it because they could look at what's bent and all that. But if there's any special tools needed or the parts,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the body. Remember when the Gas Monkey guys built?
I remember
rebuilt that wreck. I remember when they got a nose piece, the body panel.
Mm-hmm.
That alone was $30,000.
Yeah, that's your cost right there.
So just everything costs so much because so few of them are made.
Yeah. Hey, we've got another segment coming up of Cruise Control, so stay tuned. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. Plenty more to go. News you can use. Oh, God. We'll be right back. Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Big things going on in the automotive industry. Les?
Oh, yeah.
And we told you about what was happening at Ford. We told you what's happening between Honda and Sony. And then, of course, there's Stellantis. They kind of been talking up their electric future. They showed off another kind of teaser for the new Ram, which looks like a great vehicle, which is going to be a great vehicle. But one of the things, of course, and I guess Dodge has been known nowadays the brand of muscle. By the way, I was in my local park. This was bizarre. And I was shooting some video of a press vehicle off in the corner at where I go so I don't annoy anyone. And along comes 4 Dodge brand vehicles, Hellcat Charger, Hellcat Challenger, a couple of others. They line up like they're in a staging lane, and then they go right to the center of the parking lot and start doing donuts. Tires smoking, chunks of rubber flying out. And then one would finish, then would just drive around and get back in line again. It was like an organized event. But I thought, wow, you're doing wonders for that vehicle, aren't you?
Oh, listen, these guys are surely in the brain trust. And, there's a Nobel Prize waiting somewhere.
I thought
this is stupid. That's why they actually, and of course, if the police ever caught them, that's classified as reckless driving. But I mean, what a dumb thing to do. What are they gonna do if they flatten 2 or 3 of their tires?
Yeah, or blow out the universal joints or something like that.
Even better.
But anyway, let's talk about Dodge's future. EV promise. We had some of the folks on from Dodge and said, well, you have all these great vehicles. They're going to transition to electric. But what will they sound like? And so Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares says this year they will debut in concept form a new Dodge performance car that could replace the Charger and the Challenger, and it will have a shocking sound. He said, we have created a sound that you cannot imagine. And the sound will be louder and more powerful in function of the way you are using the car. Those are his words. So what do you make of that? What do you think the sound will be?
Well, I would assume it'll be some sort of crackly, high-pitched exhaust, open exhaust sound.
And I'm sure they've done studies of what people like about the current sound of the Hellcat. It's the scream of the supercharger. It's the deep sound that comes from deep within the engines. It will be interesting to see what they come up with. Of course, if they don't like it, they can always change it, can't they?
Well, true. I really, I would prefer to hear the old Roadrunner beep beep. That was a cool sound.
I sort of like the sound of a turbine, even though it makes no sense. But it always, I thought, well, that's what cars will sound like in the future. Thing is, do you think they make these sounds that will stay inside the car, or will they be putting speakers outside the car so everyone hears?
Well, they're getting the states are pushing back real hard on loud exhausts. So I think it's going to be more inside.
Yeah. I think you're right too. I mean, it really doesn't have to be outside because, unless you're standing on the side of the road and it passes, and you say, "Wow, that's cool," really, it will be on the inside. And
Hopefully you have a volume control on the inside.
Well, look, Ford Mach-E does. I mean, they have a silent mode, and then they have the unbridled sound. I didn't find them to be too massively different, and they were not overwhelming. I think you do need a sound in an electric car because it's sort of like that's how some people drive. It's a feedback mechanism. It would be like having a steering wheel with no feedback. You wouldn't be able to know where you were on the road,
I was part of a practical joke this past week.
Uh-oh.
This has nothing to do with Dodges. But a friend of mine's next door neighbor that they sort of get along bought a new SUV, and we opened it up and took the little jack that you get with it out and put an old style bumper jack in it. As hoping that he would be dumb enough to try jack it up, but of course he wasn't. But it just was, such an anachronistic joke.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he didn't. By the way, he didn't appreciate it.
No, he's like, "Where's my jack? Bring it back."
Yeah.
This car, I paid $20,000 over MSRP. It's not funny. That jack cost me $2,500.
Good point.
It's not funny. Well, you think about this too. With the average price of cars going up, does that increase the penalties for stealing it? Is that what is is that grand larceny? If cars are now going to be $85,000 to $150,000, right? We just talked about the one BMW. The price on it is $85,000. Who knows what it will sell for? Probably more. I mean, you're talking some serious money here now. It's no longer, well, hey, it's my $3,000 beater or my even my $15,000 car. It's my $125,000 electro SUV.
I think you're right. I think that the incentive to steal these things is going to be far greater.
Yeah, interesting. This was a cool story that came out this week about SEMA. They got the bill passed for low volume manufacturers. Means that the manufacturers can build up to, I believe it's 375 cars a year. And this helps people building, they can sell them as a finished car. So they can build a full Cobra replica. You can get a street rod or whatever low numbers car. I think that's an interesting idea. It kind of harkens back to the old days when you would buy a chassis and go out and find a coach builder, right?
Well, that's right. Yeah, so it's 375 vehicles a year you can build.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when it was about 100.
Yeah. 375, you think about it. And this is what probably will, like when DeLorean starts building their electric car.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. They're not going to sell more than 375 a year.
No.
And this will be perfect for. I think it's a good idea. We thank the folks over at SEMA and NHTSA. SEMA and NHTSA got together to implement this rule, and I think it will lead to some interesting vehicles we can talk about on Cruise Control.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good deal. So that's a good way to end this hour of Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out the YouTube page, all kinds of stuff there. cruisecontrolradio.com is the gateway to get to it all. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control streams live every Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Details are in this podcast's episode information.